So here's a question, Funnel. What if the greatest threat to reality wasn't, destruction, but perfection?
Hmm, that's a strange thought.
It is, right? Because we usually think of chaos as ruin, as the enemy.
Yeah.
But today, we're doing a deep dive into a cosmology where chaos is, well, it's the ultimate defense against just nothingness.
Yeah, we've been poring over a really fascinating mythological source. It's all about something called the Courts of Chaos, and our mission today is to really unpack this thing.
And we're not just, reciting lore here.
No, not at all. We're trying to trace existence from the very beginning, this eternal silent void through the rise of the gods of order and then into the, you'd call it the necessary madness that birthed this whole cosmic game.
And the core paradox we're going to chase is it's
Yeah.
absolutely mind-bending. The idea that unpredictability, endless motion,
Yeah,
all the stuff you try to get rid of in your life
right.
is actually the only thing keeping the whole universe alive.
To even get our heads around that, we have to start at the absolute beginning. I mean, before time was even a concept.
Okay.
We're talking about this eternal stillness, which the source just calls the void. Now, this wasn't like empty space.
Around the way we think of it?
No, this is the home of the old ones. And the sources are, they're incredibly specific about what they were. They didn't live, they didn't die, they just were.
They just were.
Yeah, their entire nature was absolute, unchanging stasis, just stillness.
But a stillness with potential? That seems like a key difference. And out of that, that quiet, you get the first real beings, the gods of order.
The original architect?
Yes, obsessed with pattern, symmetry, flawless design. And their pride was, it was immense. They thought they were the first and only things, and they set out to build these perfect, lasting worlds.
Crystalline utopias, worlds that would never, ever fade.
And among them, there was one who was, well, he was the brightest of them all. His original name is lost to time.
But we know him as the Fool.
The Fool. And when you hear that, you think ignorance, but that's not it at all, is it?
No, it's completely wrong. He's called the Fool because of his faith, his unshakable belief that you could build a flawless world, a perfect system, and that it could last forever, defy the void itself.
He sounds like the perfect CEO.
Yeah.
So dedicated to the system. But he makes a mistake. Or maybe it's the greatest discovery ever. He goes on a journey the other gods were too scared to take.
He looked deeper. He traveled into the dark spots where their perfect light couldn't reach. And that's where he found it, the void and the old ones.
And that's the moment everything changes.
That's where his divine mind just shatters. He sees the fatal flaw in the whole plan for perfection.
Which is,
If the old ones could never end, if that absolute stillness was the only truly eternal state, then everything built on order, on rigid patterns, was, by its very nature, temporary.
so once perfection is achieved, it has nowhere else to go.
Exactly. A perfect world becomes static. It stops changing, stops moving. It starts to look just like the void.
And if it looks like the void,
The void claims it. So perfection in this cosmology isn't an achievement. It's a slow, certain death sentence for all of creation.
wow. Okay, so this realization, this proof that his entire life's work was basically doomed, that didn't lead him to despair.
No, it led to something much more disruptive. It shattered his perception. That single straight line of divine thought splintered into, well, the source calls it a deck of infinite possibilities.
He saw that contradiction was the only way forward.
And he laughed. That's the absolute key. He didn't cry. He didn't rage. He laughed. A deep, chaotic sound. And it was the first sound the void had ever heard.
And that's the birth of chaos.
That's it. From that laughter, chaos was born. He renounced the throne of order, wandered off into the deep places, and became the first god who would rather play than rule.
So it wasn't an act of evil. It was a desperate defensive breakdown, a necessary one.
It was the ultimate rejection of rigidity. And from the shards of his own broken perfection, the Fool then crafts 21 reflections of himself.
These are the chaos gods, the courts.
Exactly, the living expression of all those splintered possibilities.
And if you're listening, you would recognize these figures instantly. Individually, they are the major arcana from a tarot deck. The magician, the tower, the devil, the star, all of them.
Yeah, and they're powerful, but they're not. They're not simply good or evil. They're living principles of contradiction.
Okay, so what does that mean in practice?
Well, take the tower. It represents catastrophic ruin, sure, but it also represents necessary change. Or the Empress, whose creation and decay, they embody both sides of every coin.
Love and betrayal. War and Peace.
All of it, endlessly reshuffling. Their whole reason for being is to make sure nothing ever achieves permanence. No single state gets to win.
Let's talk about where they live for a second, because the description of their realm gives you a great visual of what this pure motion actually looks like.
It's incredible. Mortals call it the shattered dream or delirium, and it's basically pure physical contradiction.
Motion given shape. I was reading a note about a river that flows backward into a mallet that hasn't even been built yet.
I saw that one. It's that kind of genius. It's physical instability made real. We're talking about continents that breathe, skies that are repainted every single heartbeat.
Where gravity's just a suggestion.
Exactly. If you stand still for too long, the ground you're on will literally shift into something else. It forces you to constantly adapt.
And at the very center of all this madness is the Collider throne.
Right, their nexus of power.
And it's not even a real throne, is it? It's just a form made of shifting light where no pattern can hold for a microsecond. This is where they watch everything from.
So if we just, look past the wild visuals for a moment, What's the point? What does all this motion actually do?
Well, their purpose isn't conquest.
No, it's continuance. That's the key word the source uses. Continuance. Order wants one perfect final state, right? Chaos just ensures that the board is never, ever solved.
Because if the board is solved, you get silence. And silence is the wake-up call for the void. Every birth, every storm, every random twist of fate that seems unfair.
It's just a card being drawn from their deck.
A new variable thrown into the equation to stop it from freezing up.
Which brings us right to the Great Conflict, this cosmic Cold War that really defines all of existence. On one side, you've got the Lords of Order.
Fool's old family.
His old co-workers, yeah. Still trying to build their perfect crystalline utopias. Still dreaming of locking the universe into one flawless design where nothing ever changes.
They must absolutely despise the courts of chaos.
Oh, for sure. They see chaos as a corruption, a degradation of the perfect blueprint.
But the courts would say they're a necessity.
And they'd be right. The tension between them is the engine of existence. Order is always tightening the cosmic pattern, preventing total breakdown.
And chaos is always loosening it, preventing total stasis.
It's this perfect stalemate. Each side needs the other, and each one stops the other from completely destroying everything. The stakes are, well, they're everything.
Okay, but hang on. If chaos is just endless contradiction, what stops the chaos gods from just, dissolving the universe for a laugh? Or just wiping out order completely? Even an engine of chaos needs some kind of regulator.
It absolutely does, and that is the Joker, the eternal card. He is the ultimate failsafe.
Wait, I'm a little confused. If chaos was born from the Fool's Breakdown, why would they ever tolerate a failsafe? And why call him the Joker? It sounds like he's on their team.
He's playing for the game. That's the difference. He's not a god, he's not a servant. He's the pure echo of the Fool's original sanity.
The part that remembered the rules before he saw the void.
Yes. He's a living reminder of the first joke, that necessary irony, and his very existence defines the most important rule for the courts. Chaos must play. It must never win.
That is, wow. That is profound. Because if chaos wins, then the universe becomes so unpredictable that all actions are meaningless, which is just another kind of stasis, another kind of silence.
You got it.
Yeah.
So the Joker's job is to maintain that tension. And his power is so interesting because it operates purely on irony and paradox. He settles arguments between the chaos gods with riddles or games.
And his victories actually rewrite reality.
They can, change a major rule, a historical event. And if he loses, his defeats don't kill him. They just rewrite memory so that other gods forget what they were even arguing about.
He's the ultimate referee for the metagame. And the source says he's the only one who can actually kill a chaos god.
That's the insurance policy.
Against what?
Against the old ones. If a chaos god gets too ambitious, tries to unify the courts, or pushes things too far towards total entropy, which again starts to look like the void's indifference, the Joker is authorized to take them off the board. He's the only thing stopping chaos from eating itself.
Okay, so let's bring this massive cosmic war down to a level that you and I can understand. How does this actually affect the mortal realms?
It extends down through 4 specific courts. These are the mortal extensions of chaos, and they embody that duality in really tangible ways.
And they're based on the standard deck, right?
Primarily, yes. They represent how chaos enters mortal life, both as a struggle and as a source of innovation.
So first we have the swords. This court is about war and blood, sure, but also strategy and art. They aren't just mindless killers.
No, it's about warriors who turn battle into a kind of intense, ever-changing performance. The duality there is the difference between, say, necessary self-defense and just pointless slaughter.
Then you have the cups, which is all about emotion and magic, the dreamers, the sorcerers.
Right, the ones who weave chaos into desire and illusion. Your duality is, well, it's love that creates versus obsession that destroys. The instability of the human heart is their whole playground.
Next are the wands, the agents of deception, change, and invention.
These are your inventors, your tricksters, the ones who light the fire of a new idea. They're the chaos you need to innovate, but also the chaos of a success that never lasts.
And finally, pentacles,
Yeah.
matter and flesh. The builders.
The engineers, yeah. They rebuild the world every time it breaks. Their chaos is that cyclical nature of physical reality. You build up wealth and stability only for it to eventually decay and need to be rebuilt all over again.
And these courts aren't just abstract ideas, they have mortal champions, right? The Jester Knights.
Yes, avatars who carry that disruptive laughter, that necessary change, down into the realms of men. They're the ones who deliberately break the established rules to force new patterns to emerge.
I think we need to step back and just reiterate the stakes here one last time, because it justifies all this complexity.
It really does. The void is eternal. If the Lords of Order ever actually win, if they achieve that singular, flawless, unchanging perfection, the universe goes quiet.
And that silence is like a dinner bell.
It's a beacon. The old ones awaken to reclaim their first home, and the universe is just consumed by stillness. It's only the constant, unpredictable vibration of chaos that keeps them asleep.
So the Chaos Gods plot, and they deceive. Sometimes they help mortals with a stroke of impossible luck. Other times they ruin the most careful plans with a random disaster.
But it's never about cruelty. It's only about keeping the pieces moving, keeping the variables in play.
And their entire strategy is built on two rules they can never break. First, they can't unite, because unity means a single purpose, which ends the game.
And second, they can never destroy each other, because that would risk waking the old ones. They are locked in this eternal, shifting alliance against existence itself freezing over.
We started by asking you if perfection was the real threat. And I think we see now that the fool's madness, it actually became salvation.
The terrible, necessary laughter of the Chaos Gods is literally the heartbeat of creation.
There's that famous answer from the fool. When the other gods of order asked him why he laughed as he brought contradiction into the world, he just said,
Because silence is the sound of the void.
chaos exists not to win, not to rule, but simply to keep the music playing.
So when a storm rages, or your most careful plans fall apart, or sheer luck saves a life, that's not evil, it's not mercy, it's just the shuffle of the deck.
The necessary variables. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. How does viewing the unexpected, disruptive moments in your own life, the things that derail your perfect plans, as essential parts of a necessary game, how did that change the way you think about striving for perfection?
What new ideas does this mythology open up about the real value of contradiction? Something to chew on as you go about your day.